Hey YouTube, it's Brooke. How's it going? I wanted to jump on here real quick and do a quick energy update. Yesterday, the energy was absolutely amazing, and it was lovely just to be able to tap into love and harmony. I purchased a couple of decks yesterday. If I can't get my cards, I'm just gonna get some more. Oh well, right? So I started reading those books and they're pretty interesting. One deck I got has all the zodiac and then all of the planets to be able to do readings that way. So I think it's going to be interesting. I want to have to play with them a little bit, see what I think about them. I definitely think that they're going to be a different way to do readings for sure. So I'm just going to have to play with them. Let's see how that goes. But on my drive this morning, I had a lot of things coming to me that my guys were really wanting me to get on here and share with you guys. So, one of the biggest things, I know yesterday I spoke about what John had told me in December 2019 and what I went into March 2020 with, okay? And when I got locked down, I went into isolation for 2 weeks because, I was working up until they shut us down, right? And, it's a small world, but it's not really a small world. You know what I'm saying? So I'd been filling in for a friend doing her clients and my clients. And one of her clients come in the Friday, we were shut down, and told me that her son had been on the plane with the guy that tested positive, first case in Knoxville. So I started adding up the time. She's sitting there coughing, and I'm like, okay, what John told me, this is it. I have already been exposed to COVID. They're saying that, people like me, people like my son, people like my stepdad are the most vulnerable, right? So I packed up my things. I went back home and stayed at a friend's trailer. And I went into isolation for 2 weeks because I needed to test what they were saying. I needed to see firsthand, am I going to take something to my kid? Am I going to take something to my stepdad? How is this going to go? So in those 2 weeks, being completely by myself, completely in isolation, knowing good and well I had been directly exposed to COVID, it really, talk about another dark night of the soul. Being forced to be in isolation, having someone say that to you just 3 months prior, it was still pretty fresh in my mind. So when I went into isolation, there was a lot of things that were coming to me from my guides. And one of the biggest things is, and this is kind of what's pushed me through the last year and a half, okay? Because we've been going through this for a hot minute. Everybody that I came across, I would ask them, if you knew you only had 2 weeks, and I wasn't really sure why it was the 2 weeks, maybe because I had to be in isolation by myself for 2 weeks, just so I could hug my kid. you know, talk about being literally pushed through fear that is huge, okay? Fear of me being taken from my children, fear of my children being taken from me. And I took that time once my 2 weeks was up, and I played like a child. Like, my boys and I, we would go into the woods, we would ride the four-wheeler, and we would shoot guns. Like, I took the time to get on their level. And I didn't realize at the time how important that really was, because children have a way of helping us connect to our own inner child. And they're so resilient and positive, and I mean, they're a true inspiration for me. So I got to a point that everybody I met, I would ask them, if you knew you only had 2 weeks, how would you choose to live it? And then that kind of become my motto. That kind of become my inspiration. That kind of become that fire and that fuel within for me to be able to push through and do the things that I've had to do over this past 6 months. You know, my guides have pushed me to the max through some of the deepest, darkest fears I've ever had, to be able to build the faith and the trust within myself, within my connection to God, to be able to fully surrender and allow Him to work through me to other people. I was having a conversation with my aunt yesterday, and she was asking me about Reiki. And she said that someone had always said, you know, it's not really me that does it. And she wanted to know how Reiki worked and how all of it worked. So I'm explaining it to her, and I told her, I said, you know, one of the biggest things that I have had to really surrender to is the fact that it's not me doing it. You know, it's not me doing anything. It's my higher self. It's God. I'm just the vessel. I just point the energy in a certain direction, you know? And that was another thing with becoming comfortable with channeling. Like, you know, for a long time I had to tell myself, I'm not the one channeling. I am just allowing God to speak through me. Like, I'm not saying these things, God's saying these things. So I don't really know why I'm led to tell you these things. I'm not really sure why I'm needing to revisit that time period and share the mindset that I had to give myself. I mean, literally, it got to a point that I would focus on one day at a time. Almost like going through a recovery program, except I wasn't really going through a recovery program. You know what I mean? Like, I was having to keep myself in the present moment every single day. And the way I did that was always bringing up to people and hearing what they would say. It's a great conversation starter. It'll really help you to see how much people are living in the reality that they want to create versus the reality that they're forced to live. So I ask everybody, if you knew you only had 2 weeks, how would you choose to live it? And at that point, in going through all of that and really becoming okay with whatever God had planned, fully surrendering to whatever the plan may be, to whatever happens, and trying to live each and every day as if it was my last. And that really helped me to stay in the here and the now moment. It really helped me to stay in the present. It really helped me to stay mindful of the thoughts that I was having, because our thoughts create our reality. And that brings me to another point that my guides brought up to me on my drive this morning is, you know, we're always talking about the trinity, mind, body, spirit, right? So what exactly does that mean? That means mind, body, spirit within. 11:01 on my clock. So things are manifesting quickly. Be mindful of what you're thinking about. So if we are going through and we're healing all within, right? We have to heal mind, body, spirit. Now, I've said this numerous times. You can heal your body. You can eat all the good stuff that you want to. If you're not healing the mind, it does you no good. Like, you have to have them all in line. We have to be able to have a healthy mind, a healthy body, and a healthy spirit. So, me going through that process of asking everyone, if you only had 2 weeks to live, how would you live it? That was me healing my mind. That was me healing my body, okay? Because your mind's connected to your body. That was also me healing my spirit and tapping into that God energy. I mean, children truly are a gift from God because they are so connected to that realm. They're so connected to that dimension. They have love and compassion for everybody. They dream big. They have huge imaginations. And every day that I woke up knowing today could be it, I kept it out of the forefront of my mind. It was still there. I could still hear it. Every day I got up and I said, God, thank you. I'm here another day. And I took it one day at a time. And that's all we really can do. Focus on making yourself better than you were yesterday. And how do you make yourself better? It's in the way you speak to yourself. It's in the conversations that you have with God about yourself. It's in the conversations that you have about yourself with other people. That's how we're healing the mind. We have to heal how we think about ourselves. We have to heal how we talk about ourselves. Self-talk is huge. So how did I navigate that? And every day, it's a process. It is a everyday something that you have to work about because you're literally rewiring your brain. Literally rewiring it. I changed what I watch. I changed what I listen to. I changed the conversations that I was having with myself. It was normal for me to be like, okay, you fucked up. What the fuck? You know what I mean? You know, that down the road. I know you all have done it too. And that was so counterproductive because all the work that I was doing on myself to get me into the now, the present moment, it was being counterproductive because I wasn't being loving to self. You know, it truly does start with being able to quiet those demons because that's what I called them. That negative self-talk is demons creeping up to tell you that you're not worthy, that you're not enough, that you're not going to make it, that you're going to repeat the same thing over and over again, that you're going to fail, that you're going to this, you're going to that. When you learn to quiet those demons and control them, that's when you're able to master mind, body, spirit. You know, I see you guys. I am with you. I'm walking through it. And the energy today is not as cheerful and hopeful as it was yesterday, but it still feels pretty good. And on these days, make a playlist of music that makes you happy. Let that be your daydream. Allow music and the things that you listen to help the process of rewiring your brain. It's been key for me. It's really helped me. Now I'm very mindful of what I feed my mind, because everything that we speak it into existence. So, you know, a big aha moment for me was last November. I was really getting serious about my new moon intentions. And I said to Nancy, I'm worthy of help. Because it was being mirrored to me that I wasn't. And that was something that I had to release. That feeling like you're not worthy of it. And once I started releasing those mindsets, the things that I was telling myself, the story that I was writing, things started getting brighter. You know, 1717. I love you guys. I see you. I'm here. If you need me, stay strong. Hold love in your heart, especially for yourself. Okay? I'll see you all soon. Bye.